Ooh. 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 Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. I am an advisor for an organization by the name of United Consciousness. Some of you have been to our events. We are creating a manual. It is known as the Integrated Manual for Humanity. And the foundation of this manual is we have observed and analyzed that there are 14 divides that exist in humanity. These are mindsets. These are systems that divide us, like race, like sex, etc. And we have observed and analyzed 14 divines. The divine is to close the gap on the divide. The divine is to bring about oneness. And we're creating this manual to be endorsed by the United Nations. The idea being is that every school should have to study this integrated manual for humanity. Every workplace, every human being. As we were reflecting on the divines, one divine that we did not include until recently, and this idea came from one of our advisors. His name is Sukhdev. He's in Germany. He shared what we've not included is sense control. We have included compassion, we have included empathy and so on, but not sense control. And I was very happy that he observed this, because sense control, this is an art, this is a discipline that is being lost in those who practice self-development, who practice spirituality in a contemporary way. They want to think a lot, but they don't want to change their lifestyle. They don't want to practice the philosophy. We have integrated sense control into our divines. And I'm sharing this with all of you because Meaningful Mornings is a workshop to make sense of sense control. If this doesn't make sense to us, we will never engage in sense control. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Gandhiji, he has refined these ignorant monkeys into wise monkeys. They actually have names. Their names are Bapu, Ketan, and Bandar. And what makes these monkeys wise? From a higher perspective, they have purpose. From a lower perspective, there is understanding. If my purpose is to see nobility, then I will not see ignobility. If my understanding is that ignobility will hurt me and others, then I won't see it. And I shared this with you in a poetic way, that Sri Rama is guided by Rishi Valmiki ji to live in 14 different places in the jungle. The most significant jungle for us is this system. The body, the mind, the intellect. It's scary. It's dangerous. So all of our organs of input and direction and output, they should be engaged in direction, a higher purpose, a deeper understanding. Though the word control is used, typically, I'm changing this word for our community to direction. Why? Rishi Patanjali, in the Yoga Sutra, he's teaching what is the purpose of yoga. He uses the word nirodha. Nirodha means to transcend. It doesn't mean to control. The body cannot be controlled. The mind cannot be controlled. Control your body right now. Don't blink. Don't breathe. Control your mind right now. There are going to be thoughts, but if you rise above those thoughts, it's as if the same as not having thoughts. And we all studied this in a simpler way in Sri Ramana's Upadesha Sara, where he describes mano nasha. Technically, this means the destruction of the mind. The implication of this, it is the destruction of the subjective mind. The mind that has likes and dislikes, love and hatred. The objective mind is never destroyed. If that were the case, once you're enlightened, you won't be able to drive. What's left? What's right? What does a red light mean? What does a green light mean? The thoughts are there, but now you direct them rather than them directing you. Are you all clear about this? Because if you're not, you will go into hear no evil mode. If you stop hearing, you'll stop living. You have to hear, but you have a choice to make on what to listen to. We continue. As I shared, we're in a series of verses on sense direction, and so you're oriented fully. The first question Prince Arjuna asks, how does the joyous person think? This is answered in verse 55. Prince Arjuna's second question, how does the joyous person speak? And this is answered in verses 56 and 57. The third question is, how does the joyous person sit? And this is answered in verses 58 to 63. We're exploring how does the joyous person sit. Yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramathini haranti prasabam manaha. Kaunteya, that's one of our names. He, which means indeed, there's an emphasis here. Yatata, this means someone who is trying to work hard and smart, trying to engage in sense direction. The word yatata, for a person who's doing this, they're known as a yati. This is where the word name yatin has come from. This is where the name Jatin has come from. This is where the name Justin has come from. So the next time you interact with a Justin, you tell them, verse 60, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2. Purushasya, this personality, vipaschitaha, the word wise is used here. They are knowledgeable. Okay? So the first line is presenting a scenario where someone who's knowledgeable is trying to engage in sense direction. That's why I said Kaunteya is not Prince Arjuna's name here only, it is our name. We're knowledgeable too. We've explored more than 100 verses of Bhagavad Gita. We're also trying to engage in sense direction. Many of you who used to eat during meaningful mornings no longer are eating, correct? What Sri Krishna is subtly trying to imply here. Without clarity, we will falter. If one has clarity about a higher purpose, clarity about a deeper understanding in terms of the sense objects and sense organs, then them working hard and smart in sense direction, they will succeed. But if there's a lack of clarity, even though we're trying to work hard and smart, we will falter. Agreed? Waking up in the morning, we faltered. Not reacting, we faltered. Why is this? The third quarter, Indriyani Pramatini, which means the senses are turbulent. The senses are wild. If we personalize this to our habits, the habit to look at a screen or watch a show before going to sleep, we weren't born with that habit. We didn't even have that habit 20 years ago. How strong that habit is now, correct? I personally know people who can't go to sleep without a screen on. They need that as if noise and light just to sleep. Why? Why do we have this habit to indulge the organs and the objects? The more serious reason, it's not a habit, it is a vasana. A vasana, or a blueprint to feel incomplete. Because it's as if I'm designed to feel incomplete. All I'm doing is trying to complete myself. And the most tactile way to do that is with my sense organs. When I'm upset, I eat. When I'm angry, I shop. Yes? If I say, okay, Vivek, quiet in your mind, that is harder. It requires more time and effort. It's not as tactile. So those who do not have sense direction, this is because of the vasanas. And remember, vasana started from habits. So for all of us to be careful about our thoughts and our actions. In another place, Swami Chinmayananda has shared, discipline is to be death long. Discipline is to be death long, and that means one has to be disciplined until they die. And if you're going to be reborn again, but our aspiration in Meaningful Mornings is not to be born again. But if we're going to be born again, then it has to start again when you're born. Yes? Sometimes when I'll share with people, engage in japa, they'll ask me, for how long? When do we have to stop practicing japa? Once you start, there is no stopping until you don't need this anymore. Final quarter, haranti, prasabam manaha. When these turbulent senses are engaged, haranti, what is stolen? Prasabam, violently, manaha, the mind is. our minds have no quietude then. When we reach chapter 6, I'll remind you of this. Prince Arjuna restates this. Shri Krishna is trying to teach him about contemplation, and Prince Arjuna says, my mind is violent. My mind is wild. He uses the word pramati, like we just referenced. I have one more thought to share about this, which I will do so tomorrow. These verses are a section, so it's okay that we are overlapping the same thought verse by verse by verse. Your application from yesterday, actually reviewing, your application from Monday was to have a turtle, a tortoise, near where you enter your home. We need physical reminders to practice mentally. This is why I asked you to create or buy a tortoise. Your application yesterday was to visualize this checklist as you're going about your day. How many of you tried this? This is the most important checklist in your life. More than buying soy milk or almond milk or rice milk or coconut milk is, am I being balanced? Am I being accepted? Here's your application for this morning. I want you to rate each of your sense organs, that is your organs of input, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being awfully disciplined, 10 being awesomely disciplined. So your minimum score is 5 out of 50. Your maximum score is 50 out of 50. How disciplined, how directed are you with the sense organs? Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.